Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Positive Plug. I'm Reverend Fraser. I'm sitting here with a very special guest, Mr. Leon Timbo, and we're just sitting on the beautiful, sensational sensation Carnival ship. We have just left the island of Bahamas, and we have had a wonderful, wonderful day. Good evening, Mr. Timbo, and welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us, for those, I know you pretty well. I've followed your ministry for some time, but there might be one or two that might be out there that don't really know anything about Leon Timbo. We're just saying there might be.
Sure.
Can you give us an idea? Give us an idea as to who Mr. Timbo is and what he's about.
Oh well, I'm a singer-songwriter. I sing songs about what I see, what I feel. I sing songs about what I feel like God has given me in the moment. They range from so many, I guess, facets of life.
Right.
Someone asked me about my music, and they said, "Where in the Bible can you find Leon Timbo?" And I said, "Somewhere between Psalms, Proverbs, and Song of Solomon." You know, and so I think it's it's just a relevant way to see how God influences life, and I'm really excited because in these new coming chapters of what we're living in, I have more of a platform than I ever thought I would. And I'm excited about it. So that's what Leon Timbo is. There's a lot of us out here. I'm just one of the few. I'm not like Elijah. I'm not crazy enough to believe I'm the only one. But I'm one of many who want the world to see relevant God, raw God, in a very clear society. You know, so that's me. That's Leon Timbo.
Okay. My wife is sitting off camera at this time, but I just want to pick your brain a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Her favorite song that she heard of you and fell in love with, we had an opportunity to play it at our 25th wedding anniversary in Jamaica.
Come on.
That was 3 years ago. What took you so long?
Yeah.
But my favorite is the song you did, and I had a video of it, Don't Call.
Yeah, man.
Come Get Me.
Yeah, man.
It's a wonderful song that has such potency as far as the message.
Yes, sir.
Could you speak to that as to how that song came about?
The Don't Call song was it was through a process of losing a friendship, and it was through that process that I found just kind of praying and asking God, what is this thing that I'm missing? What is this thing that I need? And I think it was really, it's a thing we don't talk about much. We don't talk about relationship, and we don't talk about proper, healthy boundaries and what that looks like. And so when I usually perform in churches, and I Don't Call, I usually preface it with the idea that when a man comes in the back of the church, he has a suit on and he has a tie on and he has a nice outfit on, and all the ladies are like, "Oh my goodness, is he married? Is he got somebody?" It seems that we've not even addressed the fact that suit may be 2 for $150. The fact that, you know, he may be coming in hurting. We don't identify with the friendship level of relationship. It's either all or nothing. And so I just saw a place for it. And again, that's one of those songs that I didn't know. It was a cry of my heart, but I didn't know that so many people needed that healing or needed that clarity. I was given a Facebook post by a lady who had been married 20 years, and she says, "I'm sitting in front of my driveway, purposing to leave the house. My husband and I just divorced. This will be the last time I'm at this house. I'm always the strong one in my friendship circle, and I don't know how to ask my friends for help. So what I did was I called the radio station and had them play your song, and I told all my friends to listen to it, and they're on their way right now." And so it was through that song that she was able to articulate what she's never really had to before. So it's because of those spaces that I find healing, and I find those God moments, you know, in opportunities like that. So that's what Don't Call came from, and that's how it's, you know, helped so many.
It's a wonderful song, and I like the way you phrase your response, because I've often thought about that. I've heard it said that the office of a pastor or a bishop is one of the loneliest office, and I often wonder, why does it has to be like that? Because they're under tremendous pressure, and if they don't have an outlet, then what do we really expect of them? As we speak, I'm really pushed that you said that, because I won't say where I work, because this is not a commercial, but Friday before I boarded the plane to come here on Saturday morning, I had to leave my job literally and took about 5 minutes to stop by one of my coworkers' funeral.
Wow.
This guy worked with me for years. He was always a jolly guy, spoken with me. We kid around every day. And I never knew that this guy was in trouble. He eventually ended up hanging himself in his own house. His son walked in and found him. The irony about this thing is that we're here sitting talking, but what you don't know, we just got ministering to a young lady over there whose mother has committed suicide, who just buried her brother Friday that had also committed suicide. So this don't call, just come get me.
Yeah.
I think it's so relevant that we have somebody who we can just be naked with. Say, look, dude or man, whomever you want to say,
absolutely.
This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I have a very, very personal friend. I won't say his name. He's in the recording business for years. Very, very powerful, prominent guy. Sing with some of the biggest secular and gospel people. Every now and again, he called me, and I remember one day he specifically called me. His back was against the wall, and the first words out of his mouth was, "Don't speak, just listen."
Just listen. Yeah, man.
I just need an ear.
Yeah.
I just need an ear. And I think that song, to me, has just crystallized everything, because we all get into these situations where we need somebody. And the pastors and preachers and ministers like you are sometimes propped up on this stool that I don't know where it came from. As if we are gods. We are not God. We're human beings, and we need assistance and friendship just like everybody. So I thought
and to that degree, that's what makes it so difficult. I'm not naive to think that no pastor or bishop or leader will ever hear this, but in hearing this, what I do know, being a preacher's kid, being a pastor's son, what I do know is that the loneliness that you experience is almost protection, because I've seen pastors live life, be pulled on their entire church tenure, and when they're gone, the church simply finds another man
That's right.
and replaces.
That's right.
And then they honor the memory of a man or woman who gave everything without anybody to bounce anything off of.
Right.
It comes at a price, and those kind of relationships that those pastors and bishops need. They don't need to be known. They don't need to be in front of everybody. They don't need to be, because there has to be a certain level of accountability.
Yes.
And that man of God needs to know that they can trust that space.
That's right.
I mean, the more successful these guys are, the more susceptible they are to crisis and financial dilemma, and those people that are by them need to have the agenda of covering alone.
That's right. That's right.
And that's really a rare find. That's a rare find with people of power, people of prestige, people of influence. That's a rare find, and you'll find most of those positions will always be most times in loneliness, or aloneness rather, because of that factor. And so, to the person who is the friend, to the leader, let your friendship always cover. Let your friendship always first cover in prayer, but then cover in loving godly counsel. And sometimes you just need to shut up. Sometimes some of those processes just need to take place.
That's right. I am listening to you, and I thought about even the disciples when Jesus sent them out.
Yeah.
It was 2 by 2.
Accountable. Yeah.
Because we all have to be accountable to somebody, and the scripture declares that 2 is better than 1.
Yes, sir.
Because you fall by yourself.
Absolutely.
You have no one to pick you up. So I think this speaks to us needing to reach out. I would like to think that I'm a very strong supporter of my pastor. He's a young pastor. But at the same time, I think God has given me the wisdom to know that I need to be supportive in a non-threatening way.
Absolutely.
It's where he feels like
Absolutely.
this guy know what he's about,
Yeah.
and he's not for himself, he's for the ministry.
Yeah.
You speak to
That
that?
matters. Because as a leader, as a visionary, people don't realize that this faith walk, it requires some relationships that can take some wrong choices.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and unfortunately, we are given the context that people who are in leadership are in leadership because they never made mistakes. A good pastor of well, my father's pastor. My father served him for 17 years, and he was a Church of God in Christ pastor, Elder W.F. Falls down in Jacksonville, Florida. And he asked Elder Falls, he said, why does it, he was about 65 when he asked him this. He said, Elder Falls, why does it seem like you have no enemies? And Elder Falls simply looked at him and said, because I outlived them all.
Ooh, that's brilliant.
The reality is that there was no, this trial, this process, it's inevitable for these leaders.
Yes.
They're not in leadership because they made no mistakes. They're in leadership because they had right relationship
That's right.
when they
That's
made
powerful.
mistakes.
That's powerful.
And that's
powerful.
what those spaces need to be covered in.
That's powerful. I got one thing to say that's kind of on topic but off topic.
Yes, sir.
But we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with the great and wonderful Leon Timbo. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.